There we go. Okay, so it is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, and this is our team call for Team Lifetime Fitness. And we're going to be hearing from Elena Ferguson and Brittany Stapleton today. So I did want to shout out Melissa because she's already at Success Club 8. And then Christy is at Success Club 11, and I'm at Success Club 9, and I'm not sure about anyone else. So if you're at Success Club, type it in the chat box so I can shout you out. But Robin's like, I've been on a cruise all week. I didn't have time to check. So anyway, congratulations to you ladies that have hit Success Club already. And so Brittany, are you going first? Or was Elena going to go first?
I don't care. I don't think we have anyone on that isn't a coach. So should we just have you go, Elena? What do you think?
Sure. And then if others get on, that might work out well.
Take it away.
All right. So Robin just asked me to share a little bit about how I've changed since becoming a coach and what I've learned about me. So I guess kind of a lot. Just starting doing personal development and finding out that, whatever I share is influential to people, and that if I make it applicable to them, then that's when I start to see results. So one thing I think that changed and made me really become focused on coaching is finding a workspace where I know that that's my workspace. Because when I first started, I still use my laptop, but I would just carry it with me wherever. Like sometimes I'd be sitting in my bed or on my couch or at my kitchen counter. And then as soon as I went to my husband and said, okay, look, I need to have a dedicated space at our desk, which just had a bunch of stuff on it. And I'm like, okay, we need to clear this off and make this my workspace. Then it really changed everything, because then I started having a set time every day where I would sit at my desk and actually get my work done and do my power hour, even though sometimes it might take longer than an hour. But that's really when I started seeing the biggest change, and shortly after is when I became an Emerald coach. So I think that at least for me was huge, just knowing that it was my work time and that was my workspace. And then another thing, kind of feel like I'm just talking about a lot of random stuff, but that's kind of how I do things, and that's what works for me. So one thing that if you guys haven't read, and I just started reading it, but if you haven't read Jab, 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 Right Hook, I would read it, because it just talks about kind of how lucky we are to have social media. And that, even businesses who've been around for years and years and years have to go to social media now to get customers. And so we're lucky that, as personal business owners, we have that at our fingertips, and we don't have to go out and spend tons of money on advertising. We can spend money on Facebook advertising, but we don't have to, and we can reach out to our friends that way. So let's use it to the best of our ability. And we've had lots of calls kind of talking about what posts are good to make, and even a little bit about when to post. And I feel like I've done pretty well at finding out what's best, at least for my audience. And I think it's going to be different for everyone, because my audience might be different than anyone else's audience. And especially where I live kind of far away from a lot of my friends. I live in Kansas City, and all of my family and a lot of my friends are back in Utah. And so I found that when I was posting things, that's not when a lot of my followers, I guess you could say, were seeing it. So I would post when I would get up in the morning and do things, but that was before other people would get up. or like around lunchtime, because I thought that would be a good time, but that's not when most people were seeing it. And actually, I found this out when we did our live power hour, and I posted something later on at night when I usually don't, because I'm done with my business for the day and I just figure that's too late. But I got a ton of response from people. And I feel like that's because that's when everyone back in Utah or mountain time was winding down for the day. When I was done winding down, that's when they were. So it's important to think about those things and see who your audience is and post at times. And a lot of it's trial and error. I mean, and it also has to deal with what you're posting too, whether or not you get a lot of likes. But so figure out what time works best and when you are getting a lot of response, and post a lot. You know, if you have a good response, then post again the next night and see if it was just that type of post or if it was the time frame, and kind of figure it out. And so in the book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, it talks a lot about just putting yourself out there over and over and over again. And finding quality. Obviously, jab, jab, jab is 3 times, so that's quantity as well, but you can't just post whatever. It also has to be quality. And you might feel like you're posting a ton and no response. And I felt like that my first, 3-4 months of coaching. I was getting kind of frustrated because I didn't feel like anyone was caring what I was posting and that I was over posting. But it's kind of crazy how now, like even last night, I had a friend who I had invited to get a challenge pack, I think my first month of being a coach, and it kind of went nowhere and she didn't seem interested. But, 6 months later, she messaged me out of nowhere saying, "Hey, I think I'm ready." And I really feel like it's because I keep posting and because, I planted that seed and then was consistent. And she knew that, like, even though she said some of her other friends have been doing 21-day fix, and so she thinks she's ready for it now, that because I've been posting consistently and she knows that I'm serious about coaching, that she's coming to me for that because I planted that seed and I've been consistent. So I still get frustrated all the time about, I'm posting all this stuff and I'm not seeing results from it, but you will. And you just have to keep at it. Another thing that came up this past week that I was kind of surprised by was I have a friend who sells It Works stuff. And I've been like super hesitant to say anything to her because I feel like, that's kind of a little bit of our competition. But so her name would pop up and I'd be like, well, I'll just message her another day. No big deal. And she actually had messaged me about something dealing with It Works. And I was like, oh no, Beachbody is working great for me, but I appreciate the invite. And she's like, oh yeah, that's great. Maybe I'm going to try some Beachbody stuff. And then even today she posted about wanting a pre-workout. And so I messaged her, or I just commented on her question. I'm like, hey, Beachbody has an awesome performance line. And so I sent her my link, and I don't know if anything will come from it, but she seemed super interested. So even those people who you may not think are going to be interested at all, they could be. So don't be afraid to say something. Even though I didn't and it just kind of worked out, I learned from that to know that it's okay to say something to them. The worst thing they're going to do is say no, right? And we're used to that. Let's see. That's pretty much it. One more thing that I wanted to talk about was that I learned in the Jab, 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 Right Hook book is not only posting at good times, but always also posting to who you want your audience to be. Whether your audience is moms or people who work a lot and need a quick workout in the morning or something, just think about who you're actually posting to. and who you can relate to. Just like one example is I have a really good friend who loves the gym, and she eats healthy, and she's talked about Shakeology, but like I love to post things about not having to go to the gym, like not having to get my kids ready and out the door to get to the gym. Or like if it's a rainy day and I can't go out running, I love that I can just pop in my DVD and work out from home. So I'll post things like that so that it can get people thinking like, I was going to go for a run today, but I can't because it's rainy. And if I'm like, hey, I was too, but I can just work out from home, it might get them thinking. So, I mean, just in the back of your mind, think about who your audience is and post to them. So I hope that you learned something from that. Just kind of a bunch of random stuff, but
Thank you. No, I love that. I thought you did awesome and definitely covered a lot of stuff that when we first started out as coaches, we don't think about. And it's a lot of trial and error. So it's awesome that you were able to share that, so that hopefully some of these newer coaches don't have to do all that trial and error to find out. So anyway, thank you. All right, Brittany, your turn.
Okay, good job, Elena. That was great. All right, so Shakeology. Do we have anyone on here that isn't a coach? That's just here for information. Trying to scroll through people. I don't think so, right? Okay, so we'll just fly through it then. Okay, where to start? Just kidding. I got most of my info from Shay Stanford's videos. Has anyone seen those? There's 2 that are pretty 45-ish minutes long, and they have a lot of info. Anybody? Hands up, maybe? Okay, cool. That's good, because then this won't be boring, hopefully. So basically our job as coaches, well, let me tell a little bit about Shay. She is certified nutrition. I am not yet anyway. It is a goal of mine. She has 10 years of pharmaceutical sales experience. So she knows kind of the ins and outs of supplements, and not just supplements, but how to get things approved and kind of the back channels of it. So I wanted to choose Shakeology. A lot of you know I have the passion for it anyway. It kind of saved my stomach and my digestive tract, and that's how I got into Beachbody. And I had a lot of these questions when I first came in. So I figured we'd go over a lot of it and see if I answer any of your questions. So us job as coaches is to find how Shakeology fits into how it can help them and how it can create value. Are you guys sick of that word as a coach? Sometimes I'm sick of the word value. Anyway, find how it fits and creates value in their life. Because if they see value, they'll pay for it. Like, why do people go and get $2,000 handbags instead of going to Macy's and getting, one for $50 at Macy's instead of the Gucci or whatever, So they see value in more expensive things, like cars too. A Lexus or something that's similar to a Toyota, but they see it as being a little bit more, having more value. So a lot of you might have already heard about the diet cycle. I just want to fly through this because I think it's important. And since I watched these videos and learned about this a lot more, it's come into like every conversation. And so I just feel like it's important. So the diet cycle, someone wants to do a diet, they get a buddy, they do it, or they plan all their meals, they plan on adding exercise, and they're all gung-ho, and 4 to 5 days into it, they're feeling good, they've got a good start to it, everything's going well, and then 10 to 14 days later, they're starting to slow down a little bit, and that's when nutrient deficiency catches up with them, and where people start to fail because they're demanding so much more of their body, but they're eating less, and they're nutrient deficient. So it's almost impossible to cut your calories and not be cutting nutrition as well. So that's when the cravings come on. Everything smells good. Their friends are going out for pizza, whatever, wings. They just fall in and say, I'm irritable, I don't feel good, this sucks, I'm joining in. So they do it, and then they feel guilty. So that's kind of the diet cycle and why it's not very successful. So signs of nutrient deficiency: irritable, mental fog, cravings, sluggish. You know, when people are saying these things to you, that should just kind of be on your radar. It should spark a thing in your head. So I've had a ton of people say, I just want to eat whole foods. I don't need a shake. You know, I just want to get my nutrients from whole foods. And so I don't know if a lot of you saw that study I did on my page. It was with the Journal of International Society Sports Nutrition, and they did an average of a bunch of popular diets, and how many calories it took to get 100% of the 27 all the essential micronutrients, and it ended up being like 27,500 calories. So obviously you can't lose weight on that. But even the people who did whole food diets, you know, just ate clean and whole food, they were still nutrient deficient 56%. So even though in a perfect world, perfect eating, you're not getting everything you need to have your body run the most efficient. 80% of diseases, at least, that was like, this video was like a couple years ago, so it could even be more than that, but 80% of diseases are caused from nutrient deficiency. You got obesity and birth defects, cardiovascular disease, you know, infections, osteoporosis, cancer. You got all these things that could be prevented by nutrients. And so that's why it's so important to stress drinking the shake every day, because you're getting all those nutrients in your body every day. So even if you're not perfect the rest of the day, you still know that you're getting all the 27 nutrients in one day. I did talk to Beverly a little bit about this. You're not getting 100% in all of them from Shakeology. I still want to research this a little bit, but I know there are a lot that you are getting 100% from Shakeology. I do want to talk a little bit about how it works. I know a lot of you guys already know, but a lot of your customers will expect this miraculous change in one day, and that's not how it goes. You know, we have a headache, we take a pill, we want instant, you know, that's just how us Americans are. But it's a cellular level, you know, it takes 4 to 5 days for those digestive enzymes to break down your clogged pipes, I guess, you know, and actually get to the point where you can absorb the nutrients. And then you kind of become like a sponge and you're really soaking it all up. So that's a little bit about how it works, but it's not important, I don't think, to know all the superfoods that are in Shakeology, but at least some of the things that it does. So it strengthens the immune system, the adaptogens and the phytonutrients. And just this last week, I'll tell you, I've been on Shakeology almost consistently for a year, and my husband's been on and off, but all my kids and my husband, they've had runny nose and fevers and the snots and everything this last week, and I haven't had it yet. So we'll just watch. I'll get it tomorrow. That would be kind of funny, but I don't know. So we'll just say it's Shakeology, but I do feel good, and I don't feel, my voice is lower. It's always lower at this time. I don't know if it's from yelling at kids or what, but I feel like my voice drops an octave at this time of night. Anyway, the next thing, reduces chronic inflammation. This is the cause of every single disease, is inflammation. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But the next one is repairs and restores your GI system. And 80% of people aren't regular. I don't know if you wanted to know that, but it's, I don't know, kind of surprising, I guess. But I am a true believer of this one, because a lot of you know already I got into this because of digestive issues, and Shakeology saved me from that. So just think about, well, we're going to talk about your guts and how important it is, and how everything starts in your gut. And and how well you absorb nutrients. So people have these migraines, they think it's about their head. There's a problem with the head. Or arthritis, they go to the bones. They think they have problems in the bone. But it's about how healthy your gut is and absorbing the nutrients. So think of years and years of all your eating habits, and you have this, just think of it as a hose, and you've got this lining of ickiness, I guess, from all your fun stuff you've eaten over the years. So you're on Shakeology, digestive enzymes, 5 days, clean it out, clean your pipes, you can start absorbing nutrients. You're uncomfortable. You can be uncomfortable the first and second days of being on it. And so it's important for your customers, you can tell them to ease into it. We can talk about the fiber as well. You want to ease into fiber. You want to ease into all of this, I guess. But you have people who just want to eat clean. And so they're putting all this lettuce, they're eating their good stuff, but it's just like going down a greasy pipe. They've got nothing breaking down the ick. So nothing's getting absorbed. So then you talk about flora, which is kind of like, I don't know if it's a good bacteria, but it's the indicator of how well, I don't know if it's the indicator. If you've got good flora, you're thriving, your digestive is doing what it's supposed to do, But antibiotics kill this, and this is how I got the C. diff twice. Well, how I initially got the C. diff twice, because I was on antibiotics after colonoscopy, so I had nothing good in my stomach. So antibiotics strip the flora, and Shay talked about one of her, I don't know if it was her GI doctor, but a GI doctor messaged her and said, what's the probiotic in Shakeology? And she told him, and he's like, I'm extremely impressed that your company chose that probiotic, because there are no probiotics designed to get past the stomach acid without breaking down. And there's one natural probiotic that is strong enough to do that. And to get into your intestines and actually grow your flora. And so the only problem with this probiotic is it is extremely expensive. But that's the one probiotic that's in Shakeology. So it just kind of hit home that, it's good stuff. And that's one thing you should maybe share with your customers. Inflammation. So this is the bad guy in every single disease. So we're taking these pills to maybe put out the smoke. Oh man. Put out the smoke, but you're not really getting rid of the fire. So there's at least 20 superfoods in Shakeology that naturally reduce inflammation. So it's not a coincidence that these people that are drinking Shakeology regularly are getting off their, that are healing, that are getting rid of migraines, arthritis, and they think they have to have this for the rest of their life, but they don't, because doctors, and we're going to talk about doctors in a second, doctors don't push good nutrition, they kind of push drugs. So that's one thing you can also expand on with them. We'll kind of fly through this. Phytonutrients also reduce the stress. Serotonin receptors, your happiness indicators, I guess. Those that struggle with postpartum and depression, they think it's in their brain, but there's actually more serotonin receptors in your gut than there are in your brain. So that's important another reason to keep your gut healthy. But it's also not uncommon for these people that are regularly drinking Shakeology to get off antidepressants, and there are lots of stories about that. Just Google it. You can Google anything. But anyway, let me see where I'm at. I'm all over the place. But doodly-doo. Where am I? Sorry. 1 second. Apparently, I lost my spot. This is weird. I thought I had it all together. I never have it all together. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm looking for number 6. So free radicals cause cancer. Adaptogens and phytonutrients also that are also in Shakeology kill free radicals, and you can research that a little bit more. I would like to. Vegan versus whey. So the vegan has no of the vitamins and minerals listed out on it, and that's because the vegan is like pulling the produce out of the ground, and you have a bunch of carrots in your hands. You can't really tell someone how much vitamin C is in there. You grind it up, and that's what it is. This is just dried whole food. And the whey has synthetic mixed in with it. So it's still whole food, but it's mixed with synthetic, so they can put those numbers on the back. But when people want whole, like solely whole food, they can go right to vegan. Truly dried whole food with nothing synthetic about it. Okay, so let's go to, sorry. Okay, FDA approval. So I'm still learning a little bit about this, but neither are Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops aren't FDA approved. The FDA doesn't approve things to eat. They kind of overlook things. So, and the FDA really doesn't police or care about supplements that much. They don't really monitor it very well. So I'm still learning about this, but that was one of the questions my sister had, was why isn't it FDA approved? But it also has to do a lot with money. And who's got the money behind it? Who's pushing the government to approve this so they can put it on a shelf? There's more money in our government for people who are sick and need drugs than there are for people to stay healthy, if that makes sense. So they're not going to dump a bunch of money in the food industry. So doctors, and let's talk about, doctors are not nutrition experts. The Journal of American Medicine said that doctors go to school for around 12 years, and less than 0.2% was about nutrition, like nutrition education. So patients put a lot of their, weight of their decision on what the doctors say. But, I had someone say, I'm going to take it to my doctor and see what he says. And I'm like, all right. But just no, I don't know. I wasn't as educated then, but I just sort of said, it's not their area of expertise, so just know that. And a lot of doctors, because there are a couple in my family, and they're kind of, I'm not going to say they're proud, but they've got their way of training. It's hard for them to break out of that and be open to other things. So anyway, why did I grab the bag? I forget why I grabbed the bag. Anyway, so she took it to her doctor, but what was I going to say? So, but yeah, the doctors are going to be more inclined to reach for drugs when the patient has issues instead of good nutrition, because they're just not educated on it. And actually, when Shay posted that on her timeline, she had a lot of doctors say, that's exactly right. We don't know that much. So. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm all over. There's something else. Okay. So anyway, I have a bunch of notes that are for coaches. I thought I'd run through all the stuff about just Shake before I got to the coach stuff, but I think all we have are coaches anyway. Here's one more little tidbit of info. So women are supposed to have 25 grams of fiber. Men are supposed to have 35. So, but the average person gets around 6 to 7 grams. So, think about how you would feel after having a bowl of beans or something. You probably wouldn't feel very good. So when someone's starting out on Shakeology and, they haven't had good eating habits before, you can tell them to gradually do it. You don't want to just overload them all at one time, or they're going to blame everything on Shakeology. So, so drink a lot of water, flush it out. Trust the process. The first 4 to 5 days is getting rid of all the crap in your body. So, and, you know, there's 3 things I do want to talk about as far as what to look out for when you're talking to people and just educating them. And one is the soy. You might have seen this on my profile page, but soy, super cheap filler. You can get a lot. Makes people seem like they're getting a lot for cheap, but it has been linked to, you know, digestive issues, thyroid, reproductive issues, immune system, you know, lowers your immune system. So there's a lot of negative, and it should not be in a health drink. The second is artificial sweeteners. So a lot of people think, oh, they're getting a Diet Coke. I'm taking, you know, I'm doing the healthier version, I guess. But it, you know, maybe they're concerned about their calories, and so they don't want to gain weight so they do diet. Diet actually stimulates the appetite because you have extra insulin in your body, but you don't have any calories to go with it, you know, for the insulin to break down. So then it increases your carbohydrate cravings, which then goes into fat storage. So technically, they're doing the opposite, most likely, of what they're going for. But then again, it's also a cancer causing agent, I guess. Artificial flavors is another one. You know, companies put that in there so you can get that pop, so you love it. But it's been linked to ADD, asthma, headaches, thyroid, you know, and it's kind of trained us to not enjoy the clean, healthy food. So, but your taste buds can be retrained, and once you do, you know, I've done it. Just being on Shakeology, my taste buds, it seems like, have changed a lot. So, you know, Oreos don't taste as good as they used to, you know. But let's see where I'm at. So, and you can just think about, you know, if people are still kind of just, I don't know, you know, you kind of can put it in, I haven't done this yet, but you can talk about perspective. And if, you know, if you had a child who had to go to the doctor and the doctor said they need to be on this diet, they need to do these tests, they need to do this therapy, you know, how important would it be for you to make sure that that child got everything they needed? You know, probably 100%, 11 on a scale from 1 to 10 or whatever. So why aren't you that important? Why, you know, you're the one taking care of everyone. You need to have that energy to be a good mom. And I fully support. I have felt like a complete different person in general. Relationships, mother, everything has just been different since I've been on Shakeology. I do believe that. So just the little coach tidbits, I'll just run through real quick. Like Robin said, get your testimonials of your challenge groups and, you know, post about it on your newsfeed, about certain successes that people have had. You know, ask them if it's okay or keep it anonymous, whatever. Don't give samples. Like, sometimes if people just want to see if they like the taste, then maybe I'll do one sample. But if people want, I wouldn't even call it samples. You should say it's packets, and you should do it 4 to 5 packets at a time, because that's when you'll kind of start to feel changes. And so you can do like $25 for 5 days, including shipping, or something like that. So when people say free, you know, they don't see value in things that are free. Another point that Shay said was, don't ever say $130 a bag. Say it's $4 a day, and you're already replacing a meal you're going to be eating anyway. You know, it's $3 to $7 for a healthy meal anyway, like a truly healthy meal, except maybe eggs and toast. Like, I was thinking about that, cereal or eggs and toast. Anyway, I'm like, that's not $3. But so that's a little tidbit. Let's see here. It's not a protein shake. It's a dense meal replacement. The Mac Daddy multivitamin, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's not a weight loss shake. So weight loss is a byproduct of good nutrition. You feed your body right, you run more efficiently, you have more energy, eat less, fewer cravings, therefore lose weight. So when you put it on as weight loss, you're limiting your market, because not everyone needs to lose weight, but everyone does need good nutrition. And once they lose weight, you'll lose them as a customer. So that's a couple of things about that. Shay said she never mentions the money back guarantee. It puts doubt in. It instills doubt, and I agree. I don't really do it that often unless I'm like, oh man, I want to hit success. Go, come on, let's go. No, but why would they want to return it if you just said all this awesome stuff about it? As a coach, she said she never says you can get it free by having 3 people sign up or whatever. From day one, which I also agree with this as well, from day one they figure out how to fit it in to their budget and their lifestyle instead of trying to think of it as an extra. And then I guess that's basically it. My sister came up to me and she's like, I just have a hard time believing that there's something out there that's actually for the benefit for people's health. And I'm like, I know it's hard to believe, but if you look at the ingredients of the bag, she's a registered dietitian, she should know. You look at the ingredients of the bag, you can see it doesn't have any crap in it. It doesn't have anything bad for you. So that should show you a little bit about the integrity of the company, about who we're kind of working with here. So I'll just show you kind of a little bit about where I got some stuff. This is if you just Google everything Shakeology, you'll see about Shay, but she has all these videos, 7-minute, well, that's just one. And this is the first one about the nutrient deficiency, the 44-minute one. That one's a really good one. And then you can search for anything. So you've got kids, you've got comparisons, depression, waking, stomach issues, IBS, migraines. There's just so many things that you can use, hypothyroidism, if I could talk, that you can use in here. So this is a good resource to have.
And Brittany, does she allow you to share those? Like, just grab the link and share it?
Yep, she has told us in her videos we can use this. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I have. I wasn't very organized, but any questions? I don't know if I can answer them. Like I said, I'm not certified, but I am trying to research it as much as I can because I do want to know. But
I loved it. Seriously.
Good.
I'm not a huge researcher. Like, I'll research a little bit just to get by, but I don't like that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah.
So whenever I hear this kind of stuff, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Okay, so how do I get it myself without having to research?
That's right.
So, anyway, so I'm thrilled you shared it. It was awesome.
Thanks. Good. I'm glad someone got something. All right.
Oh, I was wondering which probiotic.
I know.
The probiotic, do you know?
I went to look it up right before I got on here, and then I got distracted. But I want to say it's glucoamylosis. Got that? No.
I'll look for glucose something.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look it up too and let you know. But
okay, cool.
The 2 videos I found most of this info on are so worth. Like, I can't even express it like she does.
Yeah.
She's been at it a lot more than I have, but yeah.
It's like when you're doing personal development, you're like, this is amazing, and then you try and quote it, and you're like, that sounded so dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome.
Cool. Well, and I didn't hit everything like you know, why is the shake not organic, gluten-free, and kosher certified? It is organic, it is gluten-free, and it is kosher, but it's just not certified because I guess every single ingredient would need to have that label. You have to put a lot of money in, so it'd be like a small mortgage, I guess, for every bag.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I don't know. I guess, you know, it has that thing. This is manufactured in a plant. They have to put that on because let's say there's a 10-story plant. You do Shakeology on floors 3 and 4, but they do peanut butter on 7. So just in case a little peanut particle gets past in the elevator, you know, they have to put that on. So, but yeah.
That's good to know. I do have a question because I have a girl whose mom really wants to try it, but she is highly allergic to nuts.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, there's nuts in it. And I'm like, no, there's not. And she's like, yeah, there is. And I'm like, no, it just says that it's also manufactured at a plant that manufactures nuts.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. And I'm like, no, it's not. How?
No.
If she's really, really highly allergic, you know, like it could be dangerous. Yeah. But I was just wondering if any of you guys have had people that have tried it that have had nut allergies.
I asked that question on Brigida's page because I have a friend who is allergic to peanuts, and so I wondered. And a couple of people commented and said, you know, I have peanut allergies and I love it. Like, I haven't had any issues, but that doesn't mean that she wouldn't.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah. Just
shellfish, and it's the same thing. I can have it, no problem, but I can't even be in the same room as shellfish cooking. So it's like,
yeah. Well, it's definitely, they aren't manufactured together. You know, like it's not
like peanut butter and then a bag of Shakeology and peanut butter and a bag of Shakeology.
Right. It's completely separate, but it is in the same building. So that's why they have.
Okay. I'll tell her. Thank you.
Has anybody had experience with celiac customers?
Yeah, I have one. Oh, she's Crohn's. Never mind.
Isn't it Robin's husband?
Yes, Robin's husband is, and he drinks it every day.
Yeah.
He has celiacs, and he hasn't had any problems. It's actually helped him.
Yeah.
More weight.
I had someone who was like, my daughter, this would help her out so much because she's so nutrient deficient, but it's not approved. So I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Yeah, I would tell him to try it because my one friend, like, she literally can't be where there's bread being made. If she breathes flour, she will have a reaction. And she drank 2 bags of it. And then she got pregnant, and then she got really sick, and so she didn't drink anymore. But anyway, not from Shakeology. She didn't get sick from Shakeology. She got sick of her pregnancy. Anyway, so I was like, she's like, this is amazing, Sharon. Like, I can't eat anything because I'm allergic to so many things, or it's made in the same place, or, you know, whatever. And so she was so happy that she could drink that. So I say, tell her to try it. I mean.
Yeah, no, she's had a good experience with it too. It's just her daughter. So I'll have to mention that Robin's husband is.
Yeah.
I have a super frog in my throat. I sound terrible.
That was me last week. Okay, good night, Jessica. Anyway, I seriously loved Brittany and Elena. Everything you said, I loved it. I'm excited to read that book because I know Robin's talked about it before, and I just keep getting all these books that I'm like, well, this one's cheaper. I'll buy this one. But really,
well, I got this one. It's library.
Oh, okay.
I have a hard time buying books too, but if it's good enough, then I'll go out and buy it.
Yeah. Mine are library too, actually. So.
Yeah. See, and I don't even go to the library. I just get the download ones that are like, oh, $3. Yes.
That works too.
So anyway, but I need a good one. The one I'm reading right now is Super You, which somebody recommended on Brigida's page, but and it's okay. But I feel like there's a lot of, like, she wants you to be in a notebook the whole time, and I'm not that kind of person. I just want to be able to listen and glean. And she's like, write this down. And then, like, 3 chapters later, remember when you wrote that down? What did you write down? And I'm like, I didn't write anything down. So I feel like there's some of it that's really, really good. Like last night, she talked about how to use different tools like exercise and downtime and eating as to help with stress and anxiety and stuff like that, because there's so many tools we're blessed with in our life. And that chapter was awesome. But the chapter before that, I was just like falling asleep. Oh, is this going to end? You know, so I need a good book to just keep going. Anyway, all right, well, I think I'm at least going to stop the recording, and then if